Hi, this is Suzanne. We are live in the cockpit with the famed Funkonaut.
Yay. What's up? What's up?
Hey, so happy that you're here. I'm so happy I get to be part of the cockpit crew today and an interview to me, one of the most famous funk artists in the land, Funkonaut.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Pleasure being here. We here to get down. Let's get it in.
Sounds great. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the questions with you, sir. Okay. All right, today, when people ask, who is Funkonaut? How do you personally define that identity?
Funkonaut is a funk artist, definitely a product of the funk forefathers. Funkonaut is a space odyssey hero moving through the space atmosphere of funk, bringing all kinds of music and antics and just good things to the space of creativity, to the space of music, and also to the space of musicianship so that we have some flavor. We want to bring flavor to the state of just to come and scroll and, we want to bring something there. So it's kind of a galactic hero that brings interesting things to the internet and to music at large.
Well, thank you for that. That sounds wonderful. We definitely need that, especially in this day and age. So thank you. All right, my next question for you today. Was there a moment during the creation of Limitless when you genuinely felt limitless?
Yeah, definitely. In meditation or breathing, when I calibrate every morning, I have these feelings of what we really are as far as people. And that limitless feeling is something I always want to capture. But I realize once you say that you're limitless, you have to almost have it on repeat because limitless gives you an emotion, it gives you a feeling. And so I said, let me start importing this vibe into what I do and what the music is so that it becomes a vibration. It becomes a song in the universe. One song, united. And so that's what limitless really started becoming, a way of life, a way of thinking, a way of positioning yourself every day. And so limitless, which is what I think is really what funk is all about. It's about the imagination. It's about thinking things, about dreaming things. If you go back to the days of George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic and records like Chocolate City, he was talking about a black president and different things in the world that were, able to be shared by all colors, including African Americans. And that was back in the 70s. And so it was forward thinking. But then we had Obama and we had lots of, things happen that George talked about back in that day. So Funkonaut being limitless is really just a spin-off of all of those things and those great thoughts that we could be more.
Awesome. It gets that, bringing it to fruition and making you actually limitless. I love it. That's excellent. All right, next question for you today. What emotions were the hardest to translate into sound on this project?
When I look at songs like That Ain't Love or The Ride, those songs evoke more emotion. Those songs evoke more vulnerability. And I had to really get into looking at what I was really in the midst of as I'm on the mission of being an artist. When you're an artist, you have to have people in your life that bring that energy to you so you can continue to create the art, especially when you're an artist like me. And I'm an artist who gets inspiration. I'm plugged into another space and totally being constantly fed with energy and ideas and newness. And so my surroundings have to be able to promote that. And so in songs like The Ride, those songs talk about times when the people around you aren't really supportive of them. But you have to continue to do what you do. And it's nobody's fault, since I've been a little kid, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, images, songs, melodies, things have always permeated my mind. So that should be a precursor if I talk to anybody who thinks about spending time with me, because I'm going to be in the middle of a world that's already been created for me. And, here lately, I realized that maybe I'm unique in that way. And then I actually adhere to it. So sometimes people around you don't understand. So the ride was about being married and the wife not really understanding. That Ain't Love was about really trying to ride in the cool lane of creativity, but dealing with people that may be combative. So these are just things I had to come to grips with as an artist, making the art fit with social life, art fit with family, and it is what it is. And those are vulnerable emotions that came up. But then Limitless, which is another boundless vibration that you have to take on once you figure, okay, I'm here, I'm what I am, I'm gonna be what I am, let's go on and be that all the way out. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. I love that you have the vulnerability in your songs and then the inspiration. And like you said, in Limitless, it's a whole different vibration, but you brought your own personal experiences into these songs. That's wonderful.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm going to keep moving right along. My next question today is, how do you protect your creative energy in a world full of noise and distraction?
Creativity in a world full of noise is really about calibration. I do go all over the place mentally, and it's a must that I create different modalities that keep me locked in to get things done. Because in a simple 10-minute span of time, I can go 50 different places at the same time. I'm getting that creative mind. So I have to constantly be on point. So calibration first starts with breathing, keeping in touch with something that you do naturally. Calibration comes with grounding, putting your bare feet on some grass. Calibration comes with meditation and focusing. Is once you get the breathing, the grounding, and the meditation together, you become a lot more calm and into the purpose. And that has been a superpower. Once I get into the purpose, it's easier to be on schedule, to be on point. And then I began also doing some mantra meditations that I actually designed for myself just to move me through tasks. And then I put those on repeat on my cell phone, and I get that job done. So it's a task with me, but I had to produce it and be a producer for self.
That's excellent. Sounds like a lot of self-discipline, especially with the meditation and grounding and the deep breathing. That's an excellent way to ground yourself and keep yourself creative and motivated. Awesome.
Definitely.
Okay, and we keep going along. What's the most vulnerable moment on that LP for you? Lyrically, sonically, or emotionally?
Sonically, I would have to probably say, I'll probably say Limitless. Limitless was probably the most emotional as far as just what it pulled out of you. It pulled a lot out of me. It was a daunting mix. Once I got through with all of the elements of the actual song, neon bass, the neon guitars, Dan Weiner on violins, we have Anisha on cello, like orchestrations, backgrounds, and still keeping it fun and light at the same time, making sure we manifested that solid, almost military-like groove, almost cameo-esque, a la Larry Blackman. And to pull that all together and then get to the end of that full production and then know it's time to EQ all this and get this mixed, it was daunting, it was emotional, and I really ran from it. I ran from it for weeks, and then finally I passed it in to Dave to mix. And it's funny, when I passed it to Dave to mix, he did what he does and sent it back, and he didn't know where it was. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't Limitless yet. And so I realized, look, Victor, Funkonaut, you got to go mix the record. Mix the record first, get the record hot as it could be, and then send the mixed record to the engineer and let him go on and mix it from there. And so that's what I did. It was a draining task, but as I hear it back, I'm very happy. I've never been mad at the time it takes, but it does get emotional when you have to devote that kind of time, you know. And it's funny, if you're making $30,000 a track from Look Back, I set it off soundtrack or different movie soundtracks I've done or different major artists I've worked with in the past. You know that $30,000 will pull you through. That 20,000 will pull you through, and you really want to work and get it in. But when you work for yourself and you do it because you have to do it and it has to get done, it has to come from another reservoir, another space, and I think that new space of understanding and then really pulling for yourself delivers a whole nother lesson to myself. That, money is like a carrot dangling in front of you, and it can pull you through things because you keep looking at that carrot. But when you put the carrot of progress in front of you, and the progress that you need to happen in your career, the progress you need to happen in your creations, and there's not like this big carrot that's supposed to pull you like a dog or a trained animal, you begin to realize that we've been trained to be pulled through life. When as an artist and creator, you're actually creating something that you're pushing through life. You're blossoming like a flower and you're moving. And so you begin to pull from the universe like a flower would pull from the soil. And boom, you sit there in the sunlight to be witnessed. And I think that that's the payment that we're here for from the top.
Wow, I love that. It's really interesting. I just love that you can see the analogy between, money dangling in front of you or just your own creativity, and that, you realize it had to take time to make it perfect. And when I listened to it, you made it perfect. So the time was well spent. So that's wonderful.
There it is. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, let's keep on going. My next question is, were there moments where AI genuinely surprised you or pushed you into a new direction?
Hey, I'll be real with you. 30 years ago, when computers really came into the game and started changing music, I argued with my partner. My partner and I went on to produce gold and platinum records. What up to 88? Michael K. Simmons, one of the baddest producers in the game. I would argue with them about, hey man, keep those computers over there. I get these drumsticks and these, this piano. We're gonna make this thing work. But then, as I started going into production more and more and more, then I started dabbling with the computer. Pretty soon, we had computers, all over the place. And now, when I look at my lab now, I couldn't do what I do without computers. I'm on computers doing videos. I'm editing. I'm shooting. I'm mixing. I'm mastering. It's just ridiculous how much computers mean. So, when my other partner, Agent B1, Willie James Farrell III, who is my partner on stage as well as a partner in business. We're working on app ideas together. We're working on production together. When he saw Suno and he saw AI, he really got involved with the beauty of Suno. And I couldn't deny it. I just said, hey man, I felt myself welling up inside though. Like, we're about to argue about this because this ain't real music. This is that. And then I remember way back to meeting with 88 and arguing with him. And now I'm surrounded by computers. And so I had to come to grips with, hey man, I can play everything magically. I'm a drummer, I'm a bassist, I'll grab a guitar, I'll grab a horn if I got to, and make the whole record from scratch because that's how I was trained. By looking at George Clinton in the studio, by looking at Johnny Guitar Watts in the studio, by looking at the greats get down in the studio, William Shelby, Kevin Spencer, Dynasty. I learned from the big boys, the baddest ones. But I have to also be willing to throw that away. It's really funny. When times change and the world changes, you have to set aside the things you think you know so you can have an open mind for a new experience. And that brought that law back into principle. And of course, I said, Will, he was on the phone. I was arguing with him about AI. all of a sudden, I said, man, you know something, Will, go on and do the record. And right when I said do the record, he pressed play over the phone, and I heard X bass and two damn boots, because space bass and funk. I said, damn, man, send that over. Send it over just like that. Don't touch it, just send it. He sent it. It was two boots, and I say again, those kind of moments let me know that it's something else operating that's bigger than what we see. Right when I heard the record over the phone, I knew that was the record I was going to write to. I told him to send it immediately. Coming right out of an argument about it, I switched immediately. But that's understanding that it's a bigger producer. Let's say it's a bigger producer that I don't always see. Saw the star children and a couple better things.
All right, this is really on the same line as that last question, just a little bit more in depth. Did you ever feel resistance to using AI in your process, and how did you move through that, knowing that some of the big names like Bandcamp or Shushui?
Yeah. Well, at the time that I had the conversation with Will, I had no idea that the very platform I was on was about to be the platform that said, and so of course I had some resistance toward it, like I had years ago with the computers. However, I think in the long run, I know that AI is going to make it in and become a tool. That's how I would like to use it. Let me be a definitive methodology of how you use this toolkit. If I'm going to use it, let me use it. And so I put bass guitar up on it. I was all the way Funkonaut. Put the lyrics together, wrote with it. Will wrote the lyrics. The girl came in, hit the lyrics, how she hit them. The AI had a couple of spins on how it said what Will wrote and his melody that he wrote. And honestly, it was all functional and it all came together well and blended together. So we did a good 50-50 mix on the record. Now, resistance is something I'm going to feel because it's just not a normal. I'm not looking at five guys playing, or I'm not the one guy playing everything, which is a lot like Prince, who just plays every instrument, which is kind of how I do my thing. Or I'm not looking at Stevie and we're going back and forth. This is Will putting lyrics into AI, having a concept, and then AI meeting him halfway. And then him sending me the record, and then me taking out the instruments and me adding different sounds and effects and lyrics. So that's hot. However, Suno, who created this platform, ended up doing a deal with Warner Brothers and some other major labels. And I've done gold and platinum records on a lot of artists. And I see what the record company's idea is. It's about the bottom line. So the minute I see Suno, which is that company with the AI control, teaming up with those who do real records, as an artist and as a producer who's dealt with them, hey, it's like you're jumping right back in the lion's den and I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. So the long tail of the short tail of this is that Two Boots is hot to death. The record worked. We put it together. Everything's good. We paid for the process, so now everybody gets their publishing and their writers. However, what will happen with Two Boots 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line, and somebody chooses to implement it into their movie or their space, and maybe Warner Brothers takes that little clause in the contract and decides to change up on you. Now you have, you're in bed with something that can devour you, mess up everything. So I'm trusting that they'll do the right thing. I know that as far as tool-wise, we used it. I know this is a long answer, but this is just how much AI affects me. You have to understand, I've been paid tens of thousands of dollars for what's right here and how I made it happen here. Chosen out of thousands of people because they didn't have that exact thing and that exact methodology putting it together, and then knowing how to produce it, EQ it. I've changed my life behind that. So when I see a tool that can do that, and then they can learn my mode of doing it, that's pretty big. But to somebody who hasn't been there all the way to that side, now it's a tool to help get there. But with that tool, where you get there, you're also pulling in these other people that could be interested.
It is very interesting. With your knowledge and your background, and you have the gift that you've been doing this for so long, you can always pull from your own knowledge and your own training that if they said no AI, you're fine with that. It's the newcomers that will probably have the most trouble adjusting to it. I think the way that you're introducing it and using it as this, like you said, as just an extra tool, but not the main focus, gives you the advantage over maybe a brand new artist who's never done the homework and long training, and you have. And what I can tell, Two Damn Boots has gone viral on TikTok, so you're doing something right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's great. And then we took the AI artist, gave her a name, Zen Digital, and we worked her into an entire, spectrum of different things to open up possibilities. So what can happen? But thank you.
That's excellent. Okay, I'm going to keep going on. My next question for you: what do you imagine the future of AI in funk music looks like?
I kind of think that AI and funk music was already visited by George Clinton and Popular Funkadelic years ago. George always pictured himself on album covers, in laboratories. He'd picture himself on the flying saucer. He was always in the future. Funkonaut's on a bass ship. I'm always in the midst of talking to, Cutter, who's always in the laboratory putting something together. We're always talking about things that are going to either be telepathic or they're going to be futuristic. So AI and funk, I think, already merged in a lot of ways before AI even got here. In the scheme of consciousness, I think that AI is pulling from a consciousness that was already here. Like I said, I'm in the middle of an argument, and then I say, "Man, fuck it, do it." Then he presses play, and my ear of decades of training said, "That's it, send it over." The exact thing. And then he never made anything else that sounded exactly like that since then, or in that space. He made some other hot stuff, but that vein was kind of safe. And so the universal consciousness is always at work, and I get that. So the future of AI with funk is going to be bright. It's going to be funky. It can even move on its own, I think. But it's nothing like moving it when you move with a person and really put that vibe into it, because funk is not funk to me without funky situations. You know what I'm saying? We talk about, hey, I'm limitless, or, that ain't love, or, left off, things that could, all of these things are experiences that a human felt. And that makes AI, that puts the I in AI.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, and we do know that funk is definitely futuristic and before its time. And you're right, it is just transcending into the AI movement where it is all futuristic. And maybe it was there before, we just didn't realize it. Now we're opening our eyes to it. So, excellent. All right, moving on along. My next question for you is, what is the most powerful or unexpected reaction you have received from someone who heard the project?
I sent it to a promoter. He actually purchased the album, and I knew he was going to be doing some promotion type stuff. But when I sent him the album, he came back to me and said, "This is potential be album of the year." And I said, "Whoa." When they hear a promoter say something like that about a vintage type of funk, even though I do fuse funk with current, current funk and current trends and lyric, I think that's dope when somebody says this could be something like album of the year. I thought that was crazy, actually. And then another fan grabbed hold of the record, and he said, "Man, I can't stop playing Lift Off." You know what I'm saying? Man, when you went on live, the other day, man, I was still playing Lift Off, and man, it made my day. I was having a terrible day, and then my day just went just the whole opposite direction and went to a good place when you started coming on doing your live, And I started realizing how the record was just touching the people that were getting the pre-sales. And they feel that. You got to understand, when I go into funk music, I'm thinking about eating cereal on a Saturday morning at about 11 years old. Got my dirt bike out in the garage, about to go ride on a sunny Saturday. It's a sunny place that my funk comes from. I'm thinking about being on a ship, doing the great things, fighting crime, fighting the unfunky funksters, you know what I'm saying? But it's a good spot that comes from that place that made the 70s so OG. And I was a little bitty kid during that time. But that's what this era comes from. It's colorful, it's psychedelic, it's sunny, and when I hear that come back, I remember artist Maswat talking about Limitless. Artist is a great poet. He's in the Leimert Park poets. He's one of the Leimert Park staples as far as poetry and music. Artist is like, man, what's that song, man? He was on the phone now. What's that song that we did a song, man? When I heard it, I thought like George Clinton. It was just funky. I got happy. Oh man, you hit it. And I knew he was talking about Limitless. I was like, yeah, that's Limitless, bro. He said, yeah. And so that's three different instances of the right answer to me. It made everyone in it felt something. That's what I like. You could hate it or you could love it, but when you're feeling something, I know you're invested in it, and it wasn't just a benign piece of work. Even if you didn't like it, it really moved me. But it's good to know that the things that moved me still move others.
I love that. I think I'm not very single song on your LP, but Two Damn Boots is definitely funky, and every time it comes on, I just start moving. Like, you just cannot not move. So I understand, it does. You evoke some strong feelings with people, and they're right on when they say that it's the album of the year.
I love that. Like, I'll take with that 100%. I'm not mad at album of the year at all.
Yeah, me. Love it. Let's make that happen for you. And my last question is going to wrap it up here with you, Kurt. Is there a lyric, a sound, or a moment on the LP that you feel captures your essence as Funkonaut?
Saw the star children and a couple better things.
Hey, every song has a piece of me on it. In the tribute to Sly Stone, thank you. When I say flunky or fat, star children out, and that is heavyweight belt when we out space galaxies spinning a grid. That kind of knowing that we're coming from the lab in a heavyweight fight. We're bringing things that you have to understand are simply dropping knockout punches. That's what Funkonaut is. I'm coming into the space breathing. At the same time, I'm paying homage to greats. And so I would say it was a part of Thank You that talks about the fact that we're out here doing it. But I'd also go to Two Damn Boots. We're stomping into the future. But with these boots in this X space, we're going to do this. And I predicate that with Limitless. It right up in your face, telling you exactly what it is. At the same time, understanding that we're vulnerable, like That Ain't Love, or like The Roddy. All of those songs have one piece of me in it. And so I guess if I'm not encompassing one line, I'm saying I'm limitless. Therefore, I limit less. That's Funkonaut.
I love that. Yes, you are definitely Funkonaut, and you are one of a kind, and keep on going and be limitless.
That's what I do, Suzanne. Thank you, and thank y'all. Limitless is out. It's on Bandcamp. Bandcamp.com. Funkonaut is the artist. Hey, I love y'all. Thank you for supporting me, and I'm out.
Funk music from Funkonaut. Funky affair. Star children out in that air. We can rock together if you like. I got the back, plus the joints rough, and the parallels cross, 4 strings, throw your joints up. The God shifted. Behold the chrome mystic.
The X-Bass and 2 damn boots. We ride a space race and fun with you.
Welcome to the X-Stride. We up here all night.
Look, Mom, I'm spacewalking.
Levitating God, 6 figures. Stop the big God, the gun trigger. Alright, how you flying so fire? It's you. You be high and defiant. It's you.
Intergalactic funk.
Dip, dip on it. Skip, skip on it. Dip, dip on it. Skip, skip on it.
This here is more than just an album drop. It's a planetary celebration of funk, freedom, and fearlessness. The bass ship has landed, and the funk games are about to lift off. Welcome to Limitless.
Hop, hop, hop. Pimpin' won't you step